Hello, friends. Welcome to the HireMyVA Team and Business Building Podcast brought to you by ugozi.com. In this podcast and at HireMyVA, we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank. It means your bank. I'm Dave Braun. You know me. You know Larry. You've heard us before.
Yes.
Larry, how are you doing? Glad you are here.
I am well, handsome David.
All right. Well, I'm grateful for you. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but very grateful for you. We have a blast doing it.
Grateful for you. I mean, it's a good time to be, saying that we're grateful. I mean, we are recording this the week of Thanksgiving here in the U.S.
Yep.
I know that we've got some listeners from around the world, but here in the U.S., we celebrate Thanksgiving this week. I don't think this is going to actually air until December, but I'm glad we're talking about gratitude right now. It's one of those things that we do talk about regularly on here, kind of as a passing topic, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it probably is good that we talk a little bit more in detail about it because, as I like to remind people, anxiety and gratitude cannot live in the same space at the same time.
That's right. That's right.
And
So with
that lead up, what's our question?
That is our question.
Right.
What is the importance of gratitude?
Yeah. Well, listen, I think a lot of us express gratitude by, saying thank you to someone who's helped us out or has given us a gift. Every morning at our stand-ups with our leaders in our organization, we have to say what we're grateful for before we talk about anything else, which I think is really good. But from a scientific perspective, though, gratitude is not just an action. It's also a positive emotion that serves a biological purpose. That's what I don't think a lot of people get. But there's someone in my life right now, Dave, that you know about, who's struggling right now, and the different therapists and psychiatrists that they've talked to keeps repeating the same thing. It doesn't matter who it is or what industry or field they're from or what their background or training is. They talk about the importance of gratitude because positive psychology research shows that gratitude is consistently associated with greater happiness, right? And gratitude helps folks feel more positive emotions. It helps them relish and reflect on good experiences. It improves their overall general health. It helps them deal with adversity. And here's the thing that we forget. Gratitude also helps build strong relationships.
Yeah.
Right? And isn't that the thing? Like every year when you sit around the Thanksgiving table, isn't that really what you end up thanking people or you're feeling grateful for? Or those relationships with people, right? So I think maybe with that, you can add it obviously, that's kind of I think the groundwork from which we can finish the rest of the conversation. I just want to make sure that people understood what the hell are you talking about.
Yeah. And, and in fact, at church this last week, our former senior pastor talked about, he gave his normal Thanksgiving sermon that everybody loves. It's the same thing for 30 years.
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's crowded.
It's that good, huh?
Everybody's there. Everybody just has so much fun because he asks questions.
Really?
And he asks questions of the audience and everybody shouts it out. It's so much fun.
So a little more interactive than normal, huh?
Oh yeah. And he's normally pretty interactive, but in this one, it's really interactive. And so he was talking about gratitude, but one of the things that I think it does, which is so important in episode 75, we talked a little bit about how to speak positively to others, but gratitude helps us to just be more positive. Like you talked about it, releasing the hormones and all that kind of stuff. And it just causes us to have a better outlook on life, on our business, the people that we're with. And it's, it just helps to be positive. No question about it.
Yeah, it's so important. By the way, before I chime in here again, might be interesting. I know people are going to say, well, gosh, Dave, is that sermon or message online? This might be an opportunity for you to plug.
Yeah.
Your place of worship.
Yeah, it's at Mariners Church. Just go to, I think it's marinerschurch.org, and you'll find it on the recorded sermon. Now, this particular one, Larry, though, is I mean, there's such a difference between, we were talking in the last episode about some of the things coming up and how we're going to be doing more stuff in person. Yeah. There's such a difference between being in person and online, right?
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, this you can check it out at marinerschurch.org and look for the sermon on, well, around every Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving. Any year, it's pretty similar. Yeah. It's similar.
Yeah. Good.
And the funny thing is about that, Larry, we talked about it being positive, just coming out of that sermon and he talked about the gratitude and how it helps us and how it's a great thing. Everybody coming out is just laughing and they're positive and having fun. It's amazing what it does for you.
Yeah. I've noticed that even during the deepest, darkest days of the pandemic, I remember the first few that we did where we got very intentional about this. People are waiting for each other to dial into the Zoom call, and there's a lot of tension, anxiety. And then as soon as people start talking about what they're grateful for, the chuckles kick in and people are reminded, oh yeah, that was really good. I had a similar experience to that, right? And so the stress level goes down and you start to see energy start to climb and enthusiasm. I think that's why I've seen events like this before, right? Where if you could stand outside and just listen to the people, you could just feel good about the energy. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that's a really important reminder, Dave, about this. Dennis Prager talks about this, that he thinks it's a sin, or we have a moral obligation of not dumping our woes on other people. Mm-hmm. Right. That doesn't mean you go through life by yourself, but dumping them on strangers. Yeah. Like we're not proverbially kicking the dog down the street, just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean you ought to be able to bring everyone else down. Right. Mm-hmm. And think about, it's like one of those things like smiles are contagious, right? They've done studies on this. You know that, right? I'm smiling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, how do babies react, right? When mom and dad smile at babies smile
back.
Vice versa.
Yes. And so when you're walking down the street and you smile at someone, they will naturally smile back.
Yes.
Unless they are fighting it, right? They have to intentional. Studies have shown this. You can go on, do your internet search. They have to intentionally be fighting to smile. Right. Yeah. And those are the people who really need it the most, to be honest with you.
That's true.
But, I remember being in San Francisco and walking down the street sometimes and just have a smile on my face and happy about how life was going. And people were like, are you homeless or just crazy? Or because people couldn't believe, hey, there's somebody who's just happy.
So Larry, wait a second. So you're walking down the street, you're smiling, you look at them and kind of say hello, smile, and then they look at you kind of strange.
Yeah, ooh, what?
You didn't after they walked by, you didn't look back and say jackass.
Well, from time to time, yes, from time to time. I try not to do that now. Now, like I'm serious about that. I have said that.
I have too.
But I try to say is in my mind, sorry for your life. I'm sorry about what's going on.
Yeah.
I was at breakfast this morning with a friend, and with this wait person came up to us, and we're talking about business over coffee. And this woman, her energy was so positive. It's hard to tell how old she was. She had the mask on and everything, but just her energy was oozing out of this. And I said something to her about it. And she said, "Oh, I'm just grateful about my life." She was overflowing.
Yeah.
And what a positive force in the world.
Oh my gosh, it is. And and when we are more positive, because we're grateful, we're more positive, it's very attractive to other people.
Of course.
Everybody.
Who wants to be around a grumpy puff? Right?
I'm just laughing.
You become a magnet. And it's very important for your team. Right?
It's important for everything in life, right?
It is. Yeah. Enthusiasm. One of the memes that I've got out there, for the stuff that we talk about is it's about enthusiasm. You can't light a fire with a wet match.
Right.
The positivity and the enthusiasm that comes from you as a leader, as a high achiever in your organization or in your family's life is so important. Right. I mean, I've been both of those people. Okay. I've been that grumpy puff. I've been that wet blanket. I've been that negative person, and I've been the positive force as well. I can tell you, I'd much rather be here on the positive side, looking for the gratitude, being grateful. And frankly, even today I get pulled into it. There's, one or two people in my life who are just triggers for me, and so I have to put up a boundary around that person, knowing that I can only get so close before, I get singed.
Yeah.
And so I just have this awareness now about it, right? And so all of us were on this journey of learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
That's right.
promise you, if you get intentional about gratitude and enthusiasm in your life and just practice it for 30 days of doing a gratitude journal, of intentionally looking for the positive things as you're walking through life. If you see somebody, the examples I oftentimes use, Dave, and it blows my mind how often I see it. Hold the door for somebody,
Yeah.
help somebody who's struggling putting groceries into their car while their baby's sitting in the shopping cart rolling away from the car. Help them out. I was in a plane. Where was I coming back? I was coming back from Idaho last week. I spoke at the EO chapter. And literally, so I'm on the inside window seat. There's a middle seat filled, the aisle seats filled, men in both of them. And this young woman with a big bag trying to put it up over her head, like literally struggling to get it up there. And all these guys just freaking sat there.
Oh,
How about helping out?
yeah.
When you get intentional about gratitude, appreciation, looking for the good things in life, serving other people, man, things start to change. I just get so excited talking about this because I went so many years not being there. I
Yeah.
was that dour, pessimistic person for a long time in my life. It's better on this side, I promise you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is. I tell you all the time, my mom and I go to breakfast once a
Yes.
week. She's 88 years old, and mentally she's doing great. Health wise, she struggles a little bit to get around.
Yeah.
So what we do is when I go and I drop her off, towards the front door, she has to walk up a ramp in her walker.
Yeah.
And a lot of times she'll get up before I can get parked and over there. But you know what happens, Larry? Every single time when somebody sees her, they will open the door for her.
Awesome.
Every single time. And of course, we say thank you and are appreciative. And people do it because they have, they wanted help, of course, right? Yeah. But the way their eyes light up, the way they become enthusiastic, and they say you're welcome, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah. One of the things that reminds me, because I've lived with anxiety from time to time in my life. Sometimes it's performance anxiety, sometimes it's general anxiety because of what's going on in the world or my life, and it sometimes feels like like when you're driving a manual shift car, and like the RPMs are really high, right?
Yeah,
it feels like that in your brain
yeah,
sometimes, and in your heart, and in your soul. And it seems like when you get intentional about gratitude and looking for the little miracles in life, it's almost like downshifting and just slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
Things start to fall into perspective more. The temperature drops a little bit, right? And it's just much more enjoyable. I promise you. I promise you. So.
Yeah, and folks, we're talking about this because this is HireMyVA Team and Business Building Podcast, right? So all of this stuff that we talk about, every single episode relates to building your team. And, we talked about it, this being helping you be attractive to your team, and it's going to rub off in your team, and they're going to be more attractive to each other and want to work together more because they're excited and enthused.
Well, think about it. Have you ever worked with a leader who is always stressed out, always anxious? How's that worked out for you and the team? Not very well, right?
Nope.
And so if you can be more attractive to your team members, Dave, as you're saying, the team members become more attractive, but also you become more attractive to your clients. Clients want to interact with them, right? I just promise you, it's going to be a better work environment. Life is going to be a whole lot more fun. But I've made a lot of promises to you. I promise you it won't be easy if you've never done this before.
It's true. It's true.
Right? And so you have to get intentional. And to share very quickly, what I started doing years ago is before I started writing it down, what my spiritual mentor told me, all right, fine, Larry, you don't want to do it this way? Try this. When you lay down in bed at night, before you do anything else, what he wanted me to do is have a whole evening routine. turning
Okay.
down the lights, putting on the music, no screen time for at least an hour before bed, that kind of thing, right? Like, oh, that's for wusses. I'm not going to do that, you know. All right, you said so. All right, so do you brush your teeth before you go to bed? Yes. Okay, start thinking then,
Yeah.
about what you're grateful for. Wash your face. What are you grateful for? You have a face to wash. And back then, he was telling me this. It was during the kind of the height of the war after 9/11. And so I knew plenty of people who were coming back missing body parts, faces burned. Like, and you know some of these people, Dave. You've met some of these
Right.
people, friends of mine, right? And he's like, at least you have your hands to wash your face. At least you have a face to wash. Be thinking about that, He said, as you're laying in bed, just start at the top of your head and go down every body part, think about every person that you're associated with that you know and love. How about being grateful for those things first?
Yeah.
you know and the reason he wanted me to do this is because he reminded me, and you and I have seen studies on this now in any of these brain books that you and I have read. We tend to wake up the way we go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you had a big fight before you go to bed and you haven't resolved that, you're going to probably wake up grumpy and on edge, right? If you watch Full Metal Jacket before you go to bed,
Yeah.
it's not like a lullaby.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So the point is, if you fall asleep being grateful, you're likely or more likely to wake up with a sense of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get to go to work today. I get to do these things, not I have to.
Well, and so many things, I think it all comes from perspective.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why there is so much depression these days and anxiety is because we have so many choices. And it's like, oh, should I choose that or this? And you're always wondering, well, they have it better, so maybe I made the wrong choice. You're always looking at other people. Anyway, so how to do all that, be more grateful. We should probably say that for another episode, because there's some good techniques like what you said. We can go into more detail and maybe adjust our attitudes a little bit.
Yeah. You need an attitude adjustment.
I do. Always.
The beatings will continue until the attitude improves.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like you've been channeling Gary Larson to the far side, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you for being with us today. Remember, be grateful, because it's going to help you build your team. Yes. And building a team is the way to reclaim your freedom. We're here to help you with our course community and our white glove service, where we find a rock star VA for you. So 3 things we'd love for you to do, and we'd really appreciate it. Number 1, subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already done so, either on your iPhone or Android phone, and on YouTube by hitting the subscribe button and clicking on the little bell to help get reminders. Okay. Number 2, give us a rating, preferably 5-star. And then, of course, leave us a comment below the video if you're on YouTube. Any comment, ask a question, tell us what you're grateful for. Because it's going to help us get the word out. And then number 3, go to HireMyVA.com for more information on our course and community, and of course, our white glove service. Whereas remember, even without experience, you'll learn how to prepare for, hire, and thrive with virtual assistants. We're helping folks in. We're excited about it. Come join us. Have a blast with us. Become more positive and build your team and your business.
Yep. And do yourself a favor, do the world a favor, go do something significant today. And then remember this: God bless you, God keep you, God hold you. All right, my friends, go get them. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.